Hello everybody, today I'm going to talk about the common problems on the BMW N63. As you can see, I have two different BMW N63 engines. That's a 2013 X5 and this is a 2010 BMW. One thing you can notice is that this one has a gray top cover and the X5 has a black one. The reason why this one is a black one is because this is the updated BMW N63 engine. They actually update the engine in 2013. They replaced electronic and mechanic components. They did a lot of stuff to the BMW engine to provide a better efficiency and less problems. Anyway, I'm gonna start by telling you about the common problems on this BMW N63 engine. The first common problem I'm gonna show you that almost any BMW N63 engine is gonna have is the valve steam seals. That's a very common problem that almost any BMW N63 engine has. Another common problem you're gonna find is the rear main seal. It leaks. Sometimes leaks just a little and sometimes leaks a lot. You wanna see when you go underneath to do oil change and there is a leak coming from the rear area. Other common problem is the turbo failure. Over the time, the turbo bearing seal goes bad and it lets oil go to the exhaust manifold. This causes a large amount of smoke coming from the tailpipe and a high oil consumption. To repair that problem, of course, you have to replace the turbos. You can inspect it by pressure testing them to see which one is the one that is leaking, but still they're kind of expensive to replace. Other common problems are the injector failure. The injectors go bad over the time, but it depends. Some BMW engines don't have any problems with injectors, and some other BMW engines gonna have injector problems all the time. So if for some reason one of your BMW injectors goes bad, I will recommend you to replace at least the 4 injectors from this side or whatever side you having problems with, because it will save you time and money, especially for labor, because you're gonna pay labor again, or if you do it yourself you gotta work again to replace them. Also, the spark plugs and the ignition coil, they go bad. You wanna notice this problem by a message that comes to the dashboard that says powertrain malfunction. That the check engine comes on and you are losing power. The powertrain malfunction is caused by the injectors too. To fix this problem, you have to replace the coils or the spark plugs, depending what is the problem. If for example you have the powertrain malfunction and you use the scanner to inspect what's the problem and it says and the cylinder number 1 is misfiring or something, the first thing I will recommend you to do is to replace the spark plugs. Don't replace anything else until you replace the spark plugs. If you replace the spark plugs and the engine still doing the same problem, then you have to replace the coils. But in many cases it's the spark plugs. Most of the time the spark plugs go bad. Another common problem you're gonna find is leaks. You're gonna find leaks in the hoses or different areas of the coolant system, because they go bad over the time. That's normal after many years of use. Anything is gonna go bad, and you have to replace them. Also, the Pcv valve goes bad in this N63 engine. The Pcv valve is located in this area. It's a pipe that comes from the valve cover and goes all the way to the intake manifold, which is in this area of the engine. The intake manifold is hard to see it because it's, in between all that. So it breaks and it causes problems. Sometimes it causes problems like the powertrain malfunction, because it's sucking extra air than the engine doesn't need, and it causes misfiring and other problems with the engine. So for example, you have that problem again, the problem with the powertrain malfunction. I recommend you to check all the hoses and all the pipes, PCV pipes in other areas, because in some cases the engine is sucking air for different areas. In some very rare cases, you're gonna find engine problems like engine knocking or engine seize for any reason. It's very rare to find that kind of problems, but it happens on BMW N63 engines. Usually that happens when you are forcing the engine to go to high RPMs and when the oil quality is not the one recommended for the BMW N63 engine. So I recommend you to always use the proper oil for your BMW engine. The BMW has different specifications of oil. That means then you're gonna go for the specification depending on the weather and depending of the area than you are, because in California the weather is different than New York, so you won't use the same oil. And also remember not to use any type of oil. Use always European formula oil, because you can go to our zone and you can buy any synthetic oil, but not all the oils are recommended for BMW engines, because they cannot hold the temperature or they cannot resist the friction of the engine. So remember, when you buy in your BMW oil, don't buy just any cheaper oil. You know, the cheapest oil you can buy, don't buy that. Always buy good quality like Castrol, Mobil, but Mobil is no longer the recommended for BMW, but it's a good oil. In this case, the oil you should buy, as BMW says, you should buy the Pennzoil 5W30 or CW40, depending. The Pennzoil is the one that is now recommended by BMW. Other problems with these BMW engines are alternators, belts, belt tensioners, coolant tanks, valve cover leaks, oil pressure switch problem, it goes bad over the time, or it leaks oil, and some other problems. But the ones I just mentioned, those are the most common problems that you could find in any BMW engine, especially an N63 engine. That doesn't mean that every BMW engine is gonna have all those problems, because in this case I have this BMW N63 engine. The problem that I have is the valve steam seals. It consumes oil, and you're going to see some smoke coming from the tailpipe. It's not that serious, but it does, it does have a problem. Moving to the other engine, the updated N63 engine, the common problems are in some way are similar, especially for the valve steam seal leaks. It has the same thing, it consumes oil. I have to add oil every 1,000 miles, and sometimes I see some smoke coming from the tailpipe. The problems with the injectors and the ignition coils are updated, because the ignition coils and the injectors are the updated style. The turbos are updated too. It's very rare to see a BMW N63 engine from 2013 and up to have a turbo failure, but it happens. So you can find similar problems to the old BMW engine, to the N63 from 2009 to 2012, but this BMW engine is not common to have those problems. It can happen, yes, it will happen maybe, but it doesn't happen that often as the old BMW engine. As a recommendation, if for example you wanna buy a BMW 750, a 550, a X5 650, so you're looking to buy an N63 engine, my recommendation to you, look for a 2013 and up, because the 2013 engine doesn't have that many problems. It will have problems, but not as the old BMW N63 engine. In my case, I have that BMW. I don't have any problems with it at all. I just did a couple videos in the past about replacing this, replacing that, but it wasn't because the engine was doing bad, it was just because I wanted to keep it running healthy. So if you have that BMW from 2009 to 2012, I recommend you to keep the maintenance, do the maintenance before the time, and that will save you a lot of headache, especially the oil change and the spark plug replacements. If you do that before the time it needs to be done, you will see that the BMW engine gonna last long. As I said before, my recommendation is to buy a BMW from 2013 and up, and you will have less problems. Also, the BMW N63 engine from 2013 and up has more horsepower. Just remember to keep your BMW healthy. All you need to do is to keep good maintenance to it, and don't floor it every time the light goes green. That BMW, I own it for over a year, and it's the freest BMW N63 engine. It doesn't have any updates on it, and it's still running with no problems, besides the oil leak from the valve steam seals. But other things, other components are working with no problems. So pretty much this is all I'm going to show you. You can ask me anything, you can comment below and ask me any questions you have. Just remember to like the video, share it and subscribe. You will help me a lot with that. And thank you for spending your time watching my videos.